I'm Devorah Wallen, and I'd like to share my Tea for Two, my Torah thought, for 2 minutes, more or less. This week's Torah portion, Bechukosai, begins with God promising us, Im Bechukosai telechu, if you will follow my decrees and faithfully observe my commandments, I will grant your rains in their season, so that the earth will yield its produce and the trees of the field their fruit. There are many more blessings, but then they are juxtaposed to curses if we do not follow the decrees or faithfully observe the commandments. You may recall in a previous Tea for Two, we discussed the 3 sorts of mitzvahs, chukim, mishpatim, and eidos. Eidos are those laws that commemorate an occurrence from our history. Mishpatim are those laws between man and man that make sense and pertain to morals and ethics. The third category is the basis for the name of our parsha, the second word, Bechukosai, in my statutes, from the word hope. This category are those laws that are considered decrees that we must keep whether or not we understand why we do them. They are called chukim from the word chok, which means engraved. Although we might not understand why Hashem requests certain mitzvahs, such as keeping kosher or the laws of the red heifer, etc., Rabbi David Kimchi, the Radak, in his introduction to his commentary on the prophets, says that it appears to people that chukim do not have reasons, yet a person who is a chacham, wise, will see a clear reason for each and every one. These laws are, so to speak, engraved out of God's wisdom and will. We may not understand his reason, but as Maimonides, the Rambam, quipped, Im yadativ haisiv, if I knew him, I would be him. A possible analogy to help us is the request of the flight attendant when she asks us to put our phones into airplane mode. We have no problem following the instructions and understand that it must interfere with the pilot's controls. However, the 4-year-old child who was just playing with his online game is furious that the phone was taken from him, and even more furious when it's given back to him in airplane mode and he cannot access his game. He thinks it's stupid and crazy, and he even says so as he kicks the seat in front of him. Mom understands it a bit, so she turns it off and follows instructions. Maybe the flight attendant understands it a little bit better. The captain even further, and obviously the engineer, who's in charge of all the instrumentation on board the airplane, understands the reason why it's not recommended to leave your phone in data receiving mode. Well, what if I told you that God is infinitely wiser than the engineer, who understands why we put the phone in airplane mode? Whether or not we understand what he wants, God is the creator of the world and all that is in it, and he understands his creation the best. The Torah is the instruction manual for our physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. Part of our relationship with God is to follow those things that we don't completely understand because of our limited knowledge and intellect. God's will and wisdom far surpasses our own. Although trusting is difficult, knowing that God is requesting it, we know that Father knows best. May we have the strength to be able to perform chukim with the same vigor as we perform those things that we do understand, and vice versa.